Welcome back, Autopro View family. Great to have you here. Today, we're ripping into what might be one of the most controversial, most talked about muscle cars of 2026, the Dodge Charger. In its bold new forms, its evolving identity, and its attempt to satisfy die-hard fans while pushing into new territory. Strap in, because this one gets interesting. Let me start by saying the 2026 Charger is not what many of us expected, in a good way and also in a way that will stir debate. For years, the Charger name has been closely tied to VAS, throaty exhaust notes, raw power. And for some, the switch to electrification was heresy. But Dodge has doubled down on a dual strategy. Yes, there is still an electric Charger, but for 2026 we also see the return of internal combustion, albeit in a new, modern form. So in this video, I'll walk you through 1. The EV side, the Charger Daytona and its updates. 2. The return of the gas side, the Sixpack RT and Scat Pack. 3. Design, chassis, driving dynamics, features. 4. What this means for the Charger legacy. 5. My take and what to watch out for. Let's begin. First, the electric Charger, namely the 2026 Charger Daytona. Dodge didn't abandon this, instead, it's evolving. For 2026, the Daytona version is offered not only as the 2-door coupe, but now also in a 4-door sedan dealers and hatchback form. That's a major shift, because one of the criticisms of the early Daytona was its limited appeal to buyers who want 4 doors. Now Dodge is offering both body styles on the same underlying platform. Under the skin, it retains the dual motor, all-wheel drive setup. The Scat Pack EV model delivers about 670 horsepower and 627 lb-ft of torque. That enables a 0-60 time of roughly 3.3 seconds in sedan form, similar to the coupe's 3.2 seconds. Range is rated about 241 miles on the sedan from the 100.5 kWh battery. Charging performance is decent, peak DC fast charging around 183 kW, with 80% claims in the 24 minutes, though real-world tests have shown 80% taking about 44 minutes. Importantly, some features that in prior model years were mandatory in higher trims are now optional. For example, the track package, which adds bigger brakes, better tires, etc., is now optional. This gives buyers more freedom and may reduce base pricing. Also, base RT trim is dropped for 2026, meaning all Daytona sedans are Scat Pack EVs. The EV Charger continues to offer the wild, fratsonic chambered exhaust, which is not a real exhaust, but a speaker system that plays engine sounds for those missing the roar of a combustion engine. It also carries the same drive modes as before: Sport, Track, Drag, Custom, and so on, plus Drift and Donut modes. On the inside, the Daytona shares much of the same architecture as the gasoline Charger models, when they arrive. You get a modern interface, a 12.3-inch infotainment screen, digital instrument cluster, wireless mirroring, etc. Cargo practicality is aided by the hatchback design. The liftback gives greater flexibility. Now, that's the EV story. It's impressive, high performance, and broadens the Charger's appeal to people who want electric muscle. But it still doesn't satisfy purists who feel that a Charger without a real engine is sacrilege. And that brings me to the real headline: the return of internal combustion, in the form of the Sixpack models. The Sixpack, return of combustion. Dodge has reintroduced the Charger Sixpack variant for 2026, now featuring a modern twin turbocharged inline-six Hurricane engine. There are 2 versions, used in the RDT trim, around 420 horsepower and 468 lb-ft of torque. High output, used in the Scat Pack trim, about 550 horsepower and 531 lb-ft of torque. Dodge claims U60 muff in roughly 3.9 seconds for the Scat Pack Sixpack, with a quarter mile of 12.2 seconds. Top speed is claimed at 177 mph for the Scat Pack. The RDT version is expected to top out around 168 mph. Interestingly, all-wheel drive is standard on the Sixpack models, but there's a feature to disconnect the front axle, so the car can operate purely as rear drive. Also included mechanical limited, slip differential, launch control, and line lock on Scat Pack for burnouts. The engine itself is built with forged internals, forged steel crankshaft, forged rods, aluminum pistons, to ensure durability under boost. Dodge states that 88% of peak torque is available as low as near 500 rpm and over 90% between 3000 to 6000 rpm. In terms of design, the Sixpack retains many visual cues of the EV Daytona. Same basic body style, same greenhouse, etc. But there are telltale distinctions. Dual stainless steel exhaust tips, a hood bulge to accommodate the engine, and slightly different front fascia. Wheels are 20-inch Scat Pack, shod in 275 width tires. Braking is handled by Brembo 6 piston front calipers on performance versions. The suspension is a more advanced setup multi-link front, independent 4-link in rear. Price-wise, the Sixpack RT is expected to begin at $51,990 destination included, and the Sixpack Scat Pack at $56,990 for the 2-door models. 4-door versions will carry modest premiums. The EV Daytona Scat Pack is more expensive in comparison, starting around to $61,990. One interesting consideration: Dodge's platform was designed to accommodate both electric and combustion powertrains. The Sixpack models share many underbody elements with the Daytona EV, making the engineering integration more feasible. There is speculation that a future V8 version might still be possible, though the platform was not initially built for big pushrod V8s. Reports suggest engineers are looking at ways to make it happen. 2 to design, feel, and driving dynamics. Let's talk about how the 2026 Charger presents itself and how it feels. Exterior and proportions. A recurring criticism of the early 2-door Daytona was that its proportions felt a little awkward. Long, low, wide. And some felt the silhouette was ungainly. The 4-door sedan version addresses that for many, with more balanced proportions and broader appeal. But the two variants are still very similar in appearance, sharing rooflines, hatch design, lighting signatures, and muscular stance. Visually, the new Charger is wide. It's among the widest cars in its class. From the front, the grille opening is aggressive. From the back, the hatch and wide taillight elements give it a planted look. The hood is flat but features bulges or intake elements, especially on combustion variants. Colors include bold choices with some new shades. One of them is Green Machine, as a fresh option for 2026. The Scat Pack may be optionally equipped with a panoramic glass roof. Interior trim packages like carbon and suede bring carbon fiber accents, suede upholstery, and nicer touches. Interior and features. Inside, the Charger delivers a modern, tech-rich environment. The 12.3-inch infotainment display dominates the center, paired with a 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster. Ambient lighting with 64 color choices is part of the package. Materials are upgraded over the older Charger era. Soft touch surfaces, sporty trim, options for suited leather combinations. In the Sixpack versions, start engine to stop button replaces the EV's push to power. Paddle shifters appears for shifting the 8-speed auto in the gas models. One benefit: platform commonality means many features are shared between EV and gas models, simplifying the software, infotainment, and manufacturing. Chassis, handling, and driving. The Charger is big and heavy. The Scat Pack gas version reportedly weighs about 4,800 lbs, with roughly 55% of that up front. For the EV, aerodynamics, weight distribution, and ride tuning matter more, and Dodge has tried to balance performance and usability. Suspension is a capable arrangement. Forged aluminum links up front, multi-link, and independent 4-link in the rear for the Sixpack. The chassis is stiff, and performance parts like the track package add more aggressive spring dampers, better brakes, and sticky tires. One of the neat tricks in gas versions: the front axle can be disconnected at cruising speeds to reduce drag and improve fuel economy. Yet when you want full performance, it re-engages. Also, the line lock feature clamps front brakes, while sending torque to rear. It enables burnout capability. A nice nostalgic touch for muscle car fans. The EV version is instantaneous torque, which appeals to many. But some drivers criticize that the lack of real engine sound and lack of fight from stability control reduces the emotional feel of driving. In terms of ride comfort, the Charger handles bumps well for its size. The weight means body control is critical, and Dodge has tuned the damping to mitigate roll. But in aggressive driving, the bulk shows. Also, the EV's battery weight gives a low center of gravity, aiding handling relative to earlier ICE Chargers. To the legacy, the divide, and what it means at this point, we have a Charger that straddles two worlds, the electric future and the internal combustion heritage. And therein lies the biggest tension. For purists, a Charger lacking a real engine, especially a V8, is a betrayal. Some feel the EV Daytona is too clinical, too polished, devoid of character. Critics say the Fox exhaust sounds, while clever, can't mask the emotional void of real mechanical noise. Also, the price for a high-end EV version is steep. Many argue it moves into the territory of luxury EVs without earning the emotional signature. On the other hand, the Sixpack attempt is Dodge's answer: retain performance, bring back the visceral feel, but in a modern, efficient package. The twin-turbo inline-six may lack the classic V8 rumble, but it delivers high power, strong torque across a wide band, and modern engineering. For many, this is compromise, but a better compromise than pure EV alone. The AWD-MSA rear drive disconnect is a smart engineering move that offers both all-weather usability and rear drive purity. Another important point: the platform flexibility is key. Dodge built the architecture so that it could support both EV and IC variants. That gives them room to pivot, depending on market trends and regulations. There is speculation that a V8 variant may still be in future plans, though nothing confirmed. From a sales perspective, EVs remain a niche market in many regions, and the pure EV charger was never going to replace demand for combustion engines entirely. So the six-pack might be Dodge's way to bring back buyers who drifted away, but they face a challenge: emissions regulations, fuel efficiency requirements, and the long-term pivot toward electrification all work against high-performance ICEs. There is also branding risk. By offering both EV and ICE under the same name, the Charger badge might lose clarity. Which direction is truly the future of Charger? Or is it a hybrid identity? Yes, pun intended. One more strategic risk: pricing and execution. The six-pack must deliver reliability, refinement, and a compelling driving experience. If it underdelivers or has quality issues, fans will be even more critical. 2. My take and what to watch. So, where do I land? I think the 2026 Charger is audacious. It's bold to go dual path. It's risky. But I respect the ambition. The EV Daytona is a high performer, modern, and capable. It appeals to tech-forward buyers who want muscle car styling, but with zero emissions. Its drawbacks are the emotional gap and high price. As a showpiece and halo, it works well. But the six-pack is what excites me more. It's Dodge acknowledging the fans, the heritage, and the soul. The horsepower is aggressive, the tech around AWD and axle disconnect is clever, and the packaging looks sharp. If Dodge can nail the chassis balance, noise, and responsiveness, it could be the purest expression of Charger going forward. What I'll be watching: how real users feel the engine sound and feel compared to past VAS, the durability and maintenance of the Turbo A6 under performance use, whether Dodge eventually introduces a V8 option, pricing and value, how much extra for performance options, how the sales break between EV vs ICE buyers, how the Charger fits into emissions and regulatory constraints. If I were advising Dodge, I'd push for a mild hybrid assist for the six-pack to help with emissions and ensure the exhaust tuning, intake, and soundtrack are as visceral as possible. I'd also make performance packages optional rather than forced, to let buyers choose their trade-offs. Before we wrap, let me re-emphasize: the 2026 Charger is a statement. It's not comfortable or safe. It's provocative. It forces your eyes, your ears, and your expectations to confront a muscle car identity in flux. If you're a fan of raw, old-school muscle cars, this Charger might feel like it's trying too much. If you're a performance geek who likes the blend of modern and classic, the six-pack could be your dream. If you're electrified and future-oriented, the Daytona shows that Dodge still wants to be relevant in the EV space. Let me know in the comments: would you pick the EV Daytona or the six-pack gas version? Or are you holding out for a possible V8 revival? And be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep those engines, DES or inverters warm.